So I chose the Dementia Masters because I've worked clinically as an occupational therapist for quite a fair few years, and I had the opportunity to move into a research post that complemented both my clinical skills and some research, and I enjoyed it so much that I left my sort of clinical post and moved into research, and the Dementia Masters offered the chance for me to increase my knowledge and skills around research processes.
So rather than doing something broad, I want to do something, well, just specialised basically. I really enjoyed working with the patients with memory problems, and I wanted to learn more about it.
So the choice for me was between the dementia mental health pathway or the dementia neuroscience pathway. So I went for the mental health one because it ties in a lot more with my background. So that's more of a social care background, and I was quite interested in arts and health. So my first degree was actually in music. So I was very interested in music therapy and how non-drug treatments can work for people with dementia. So that really tied in quite well with the mental health pathway. There are a few modules on there around management, around care, around different ways you can help and support people with dementia. So that fit in really well with my interests.
Gaining more experience and then, gaining more knowledge about dementia as well, because learning about it just by yourself in a non-organized way, it's not always the most comprehensive way of getting, the knowledge that you want. So I wanted something taught, something well organized, and obviously taught as well by people who know the topic. I've always been very interested in dementia. I worked as at the Alzheimer's Society, so that's always been my topic. So I was actually looking for an MSc in dementia before finding the one at UCL. Having worked there for almost 4 years, before I did notice there was the mental health MSc, and I tried to actually play around with the optional module to have a full-fledged dementia MSc. Then I was told they were going to create a new one, create a specific dementia masters. So I waited for that one and then enrolled.
Although we might be a small course for the Dementia Masters, we're linked into other Masters courses in the mental health research and sort of put into study groups so that you make friendships that way, and we study together and we can go out for coffee and things like that, which has been really enjoyable, sort of meeting people of all different ages.
I really liked that modules, they were chosen, majority was from the Division of Psychiatry, but they were also from the Institute of Neurology. And it was just getting those two perspectives in the same field was really interesting. And it was just about the opportunities that were available to us. Things like we were offered placements if we wanted to undertake them in the field of in services that were associated with dementia, and I just thought it was a really great way of incorporating what we'd learned into practice. And I really enjoyed the journal clubs. We had lots of groups. We did coursework together in groups. I think it was a great way for students to get to know each other, to bond. We were also able to attend cognitive ward rounds in the hospital in Queen Square, as well as cognitive radiology meetings and brain cuts in Queen Square as well, which was also just added to the learning process.
Then we had quite a lot of help, quite a lot of support. The course director actually was very helpful, always available, always there if you needed, any questions, answer, or any help. Now, they did say at the beginning of this course that if you do have any problem, to inform them in advance. And I did have, the opportunity to test that. At some times I had a problem which was resolved quite, easily, and they were very flexible in a sense to try to help.
And there's a lot of specific knowledge around dementia, so the many different kinds of dementia, how they affect people, what actually happens in the brain when something goes wrong, and how that presents and how that manifests. So there's a really, really massive range of things that we've learned.